Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. Today we have a special guest. It's not a Yellow Jackets cast member, but it is someone who is just as cool. Today I'm joined by Patty, aka Patty Babs. You may have seen her crack reacts all over YouTube. She does a lot of TV shows, movies, mainly sapphic ones.
Hi guys, sorry to disappoint, but you never know. Maybe I'll be on season 4 of Yellow Jackets.
Me and Patty are actually gonna turn up as extra jackets in the wilderness in season 4.
We're just gonna be in the background crying.
And that brings us to today's video where we're going to be duking it out over our favorite sapphic ships. We have a lot of categories, a lot of ships, and a lot of passion, so stay tuned for our battle. Hi, it's Caitlin from the future, here to explain to you how the ship battle is going to work. First, we have a bank of 30 sapphic ships from TV shows. Here is the list. Out of these 30 ships, 20 of them will be drafted, 10 on each team. In order to make this as fair as possible, we're going to be doing a snake draft, which means the first person gets 1 pick, then the next person gets the next 2 picks, and then we go back to the first person and they get 2 picks until each team has 10 ships. There is an option once the draft is concluded, but before we actually start battling, where we can trade one of the ships that we had drafted for one of the 10 ships that are left in the bank. We've established 15 possible categories that these ships will go head to head for. For example, we have some tropes like best friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, but then we also have some other things like best wedding or best needle drop. All of these categories will be put on a wheel and it will be spun to determine what we'll be arguing about for that round. 10 categories will be used overall, 5 in my video and 5 in Patty's video, and that leaves 5 categories that won't be used. And this is where it gets strategic because we don't know which categories will come up, so in theory, we should be drafting ships that apply for multiple categories. Once a category and ship have been chosen, it can no longer be used in the future. Not only are the categories and battles specific to each channel, but we also pre-recorded exclusive draft strategies. In these, you can find out what our personal game plans were going into the draft and how that compares to how the draft actually turned out. So in my video, you'll see my draft strategy, but if you want to know what Patty was thinking, you'll have to check out her video. Once we have our teams drafted and a category is chosen, we have a little bit of time to think about which ship we want to send into battle. Once the battle is set, we have 90 seconds to argue why our ship is the best for that category. And those 90 seconds are fair game. We could talk about anything. So not only can we talk about why our ship is better, but we can also bash the other person's ship. Once each person has given their arguments, we are assigning points, so hopefully we are able to come to a conclusion on who won that battle. If you're watching and you think we got it wrong and gave the points to the wrong person, feel free to let us know in the comments and how you would have scored each battle. I do want to provide a disclaimer here. Obviously, there are so many amazing sapphic ships across media. This video only covers TV shows. We can do an entire ship battle on sapphic ships from movies if that's something that people want to see. If you're looking at the list of ships and you're wondering where's my favorite ship, here's a couple reasons why they may not be on the list. Either Patty or I haven't seen the show. You should have seen how many times I suggested a ship and Patty hadn't seen it, or vice versa, she suggested one and I hadn't seen it. Another reason may be that we don't feel equipped to talk about the ship because either it's been too long since we've seen it or we just don't know much about them. And again, narrowing it down to 30 ships was so tough, and there were a couple of ships that we really wanted to keep, but we had to make some game time decisions and cut them. And then there were just some ships we didn't want to talk about. So I think that's everything you need to know about the ship battle coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed this format. We definitely had a lot of fun doing it. Like I said, be sure to check out Patty's video for the extra categories and to see her own game plan. And without further ado, let's get into the draft. All right, let's talk about game plan here. I have a list of priority ships, which are just ships that I know I can talk about like very confidently, regardless of the category. And they're just ships I love. So like Jackie Shauna, Danny and Jamie, Emmy Sue, Ava Trist, Kazzy, Kate Vi, Kellyanne. Here's a little look at the method to my madness. I listed out all the categories and like which ships can go in each one.
Caitlin is out here recording her draft strategy right now, and I'm very worried. She just said she doesn't have a strategy, but I think she does. Definitely. She strikes me as a very analytical person.
I don't have any notes about like specific plot points and stuff. I figured with 90 seconds, I feel like I'm just going to talk out of my ass the whole time, so it doesn't really matter what I say in these notes. There are a lot of ships that can go with multiple categories, so that's going to be where the game time decisions come in, where I'm like, okay, well, if I can use this one for this one, I need to just hedge my bets because, again, we don't know which categories are going to show up.
I think she's going to sabotage my ships, and I would hate that.
And I've also decided that I'm not going to pick ships that I know that Patty's going to go for because I think I just need to work on my team and not try and sabotage her team, I feel like. But there are some that we're definitely going to be going after the same. Like, I feel like she's going to go after Kate Vi. Honestly, she can have the wild ships. I'm fine with that. Probably both be going after like Jackie Shauna or Damie. I'm letting her have Klexa. I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm letting her have it because I didn't really watch the 100. I do have an ideal team. I'm just gonna say the names and we're gonna see if I end up getting them. Jackie Shauna, Damie, Calliette, Villeneuve, Kazi, Captradora, Tyvan, Calzona, Hosey, Avatris. And then like on the side, I'm like, Kate Vi would be nice. Again, I feel like that's gonna be like one of Patty's first picks. Emisu I love. And then like either the Buffy ships, Tillo or Fuffy, I'll take. That's the game plan. I'm very excited to see what Patty's game plan is, and maybe we'll just end up going on vibes. Now, there is one category that is setting representation back 20 years, like borderline homophobic. We have like 2 bad ships on the ship list, but like I don't want to pick that ship, because then what if that ship never comes up and then I have to use them for something else, and I have to argue why a ship that I hate is the best non-canon ship or something like that. Like that would be crazy. Yeah, I think that's the extent of my game plan. I don't really have a draft order in mind. Be sure to check out Patty's video to see what her game plan is before we get into the draft. I have a plan, but sometimes the best plan is to throw away the plan. And we're gonna see if I have any skills in speech and debate. Because I've never really done this before. But I can be very persuasive and adamant when I need to be about things that I'm passionate about. And so that's why I'm picking ships that I know through and through. I'm just gonna have to spin some narratives. I am.
Choose your character.
It is now time for the draft, and to decide who goes first in our snake draft, we're gonna spin a wheel. I personally love a wheel. Patty's nervous, and so am I. Are we ready?
Yeah. No, we're not ready, but go for it. Okay, so what are you gonna do?
Okay, so I have one to pick. I'm gonna pick first.
Congratulations, bitch. I'm sorry. I wanted to go first because I know what you're gonna pick. There is an obvious choice.
In the first pick of our WLW ship battle, I select Jackie Shauna.
Okay.
Is that what you thought I was gonna do?
I don't know. I knew you were gonna go for them, but I figured you were gonna pick a different one first.
Now Patty gets 2.
So with the second pick of the Viliva ship draft, I select Klexa.
I will admit, I knew that you were gonna pick it, and I said in my draft thing, I was like, I'm letting Patty take it.
Aw, that's cute. I think I said I'm letting you take Jackie Shauna.
Was that the
That's my
obvious
first
one
pick.
that you were saying?
Yeah, that's the one
Okay.
that I really wanted. I get the second pick as well. Ooh. I'm nervous. With my second pick, I'm gonna take Avatris.
That does put a wrench in my plans. See, and then like it's also like this ship is on the board. Do I wait and see if she's gonna take it or not?
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. I hate it here.
My second pick, I'm going with Damie from Bly Manor.
Fuck.
And with my third pick, do I do it? Do I do it to you? With my third pick, I'm picking Kate Vi.
I knew this was gonna be one we both want, but I had it a bit later on my list.
Mine was one of those things where I was like, it would be nice to have them, but I felt like you would take them too soon. But they do fit a lot of things, so.
I hate it here. I love them. I wanted them real bad. With my third pick, I'm gonna select Wen Claire.
Okay.
That was a very nonchalant reaction. You do not care about
No,
Wen Claire.
I don't.
Okay. And that means I also get another pick, right? And I am going to take Kelly in Arizona from Grey's Anatomy. Did you want them as well?
It's a very versatile ship. Thinking practically, it's very versatile.
That's why I'm picking them early. But you picked 2 of my top 10. No pressure. Oh God. I know. I think I know who you're gonna take next.
Okay. With my fourth pick, I'm gonna pick Villeneuve.
I knew you were gonna go for them. I didn't even put them on my list.
I think they're just like very versatile as well.
They are, yeah, for sure.
With my fifth pick, I'll take Hosey.
You will go there.
I will.
They were my my Wen Claire backup.
Okay.
It's like if I can't get Wen Claire, I'll do Hosey. So this is how we met years ago on Hosey Twitter. Very nostalgic. You already get a point for that. So with my fifth pick, I will select Kazi from Atypical. You had them on your list too?
Yeah.
Yeah. With my sixth pick, I'm gonna take Your Kelly from Black Mirror.
Okay.
Did you want them as well?
No.
I have an idea with them, a very specific one.
So did I. I feel like I'm gonna end up picking like very heavily for like one category, and then I'm gonna realize that I don't have anything for anyone else. With my sixth pick, I'm picking Calliet from First Kill.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mid-draft talk while Patty gets back into the Zoom, hopefully. Feeling scared. Maybe Capture Dora's next. But I need a wedding. Calzona was my wedding. For 7, I'm going to put Freeland from the originals.
Okay. I have to think this through for a second, because I had a backup plan for some ships, but not for Kate Vi. And Calliet was kind of my backup for ships like Kate Vi. So what am I going to do now? I think I'm going to pick something that you have on your list. And I'm very, very sorry, but I want them. So we are going to be in the Yellow Jackets sphere. And I'm going to pick Taiwan. Thought you were going to pick him earlier.
Yeah, but I didn't think you were going to go after them. But that was going to be like my next thing.
Truly sorry.
Now I have to fight against Taiwan. Ugh.
For my 8th pick, I'm going to go with Shoni from the Wilds.
Okay. Another one of those where I was like, I'll let Patty have any of the wild ships.
They were my Kate Vi and my Kazi backups.
So you're definitely more organized than me because I didn't have any backups, and now I'm kind of just like looking around at how I organize this, and it's truly horrible.
This is so funny to me because my entire draft strategy, I was saying like, oh, Caitlin is so analytical. She has a whole approach. I'm just here. I don't know. I'm going to pick these 10. And now it turns out it was the other way around.
Yeah. I planned this morning.
I planned it an hour ago, but still.
But I do like that, like, now that you've taken some off the board, it's forcing me to make other decisions, and so that way I don't have to decide between two. There's one that's staring me right in the face, and I'm like, no, I'm not picking you. I think I'll go with, which one can I argue better?
You're killing me.
I'm gonna go with Cachadora.
I knew you were gonna go for them.
My 9th pick, I'm gonna hit them with, I'm just gonna pick them because I like them. Emisu.
I also knew you were going to go for them, yeah. I think it's kind of funny because I feel very validated because there were a couple of ships where I was like, oh, I think she's going to pick them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave those. And I think you did the same.
Yeah.
Very cute. I feel like, sure, there is some overlap. And I don't even feel bad for stealing Taiwan because you stole Damie and Cat Vi. Okay, so I have 9th and 10th right now. Ooh. Oh, this is the problem because for 9 and 10, my strategy, I basically wrote 2 that I want for each pick. So now I have to decide. Oh. With my 9th pick, I'm going to go for Way Hot from Winona Earp. You knew I was going to go for that one, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, and then I have my last pick, and now you're going to laugh. My last pick, I think I have to do it. Do you want to make a prediction?
You're going to pick one of the bad ones.
Of course! But there's only really 2, right?
Yeah, so it's which one do you want to argue more, Johns or Paley? I'm guessing you're going to pick Paley.
No, I'm going to pick Johns. Did you want them? I'm sorry.
Honestly, my plan, I wasn't even going to pick one of them.
Me too. Then I felt like I have to have one bad ship. So what are you going to do? You have one left, right?
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, if you have a bad ship, maybe I can take the other bad ship. But I'm looking at my other ones and I'm like, okay, could I argue that any of these are bad? And I guess the answer is no.
Well, I don't want to influence you, but I think it would be funny because then imagine the bad category doesn't come and you have to, and we have to use them. It would be so much fun. Also, then use them in the same category as well. That would be hilarious. Yeah. Like best ship ever, and we have to use those 2.
Yeah, because all of our ships will be used. It's just a matter of which categories. Yeah, see, the thing is, I don't fuck with Paley like that, but I think I have to. I have decision paralysis, if that wasn't clear. Yeah, I guess I'll do it. For number 10, I'll follow in Patty's lead. I'll take Paige and Emily from Pretty Little Liars.
Woo!
For the bit.
In my opinion, I think I can speak for the both of us. It feels horrible to pick 2 ships that are absolutely diabolical and pick those over actual good ships that are still in the draft system. But we gotta do it for the plot, you know?
I'm looking at the categories and I'm realizing I've made some mistakes, but that's okay.
Here's our overview for the ships, for our teams that we've picked and that we'll send into this ship battle. Unless, Caitlin, do you want to switch one? Do you want to make use of that wild card?
That's a very difficult decision. Because there are some really good ships left on the board. But I feel like I'm just going to ride with who I have.
Same. I am also going to stick with them. I don't know, maybe it will come back to bite me. There was another one that I really wanted to see in this video. I want to say it because I think they deserve the shout out. My 9th pick, I was really caught between Way Hot and Stepprel, Sterling and April from Teenage Bounty Hunters, which is my biggest loss when it comes to Netflix cancellations. I love that show so much. So I kind of really wanted them in this battle, but Way Hot kind of, I don't know, won for me. That's it. We both have our teams, which means it's time for the battle.
Yep.
Oh God, this is horrible.
Hosey, Calliette. Hey, I can argue Hosey like it's nobody's business. That's why
I already know I'm losing whatever category you use them in. It feels so wrong to have Johns and Paley in there.
So bad. But honestly, I would have preferred to have Jonch over Paley because at least Jonch, I'm like familiar. Like Paley, I got one argument and that's it.
I can't believe I got Taiwan.
Yeah, I should have prioritized the yellow jacket ships, but I got Jackie Shauna, so I felt like I won. We're going to get started with the second half of our ship battle. We're going to do 5 categories here. We just did 5 categories on Patty's channel, so go check it out if you haven't already. We had some very fiery debates there, and currently the score is 3-2. I'm in the lead.
I'm losing. I'm behind. I need to bring my A game now.
We have 5 ships left each. Some really big hitters on the table. I still have Jackie Shauna left. Patty still has Klexa left. We have the potential for some really good battles.
I guess it's time to find out what the first category is. Let's hit it.
Fuck. I really want that category to go.
Star-crossed lovers.
Oh. Oh, I know what you're gonna do. Okay. So I think I have a perfect ship here for Star-crossed lovers. Star-crossed lovers are literally like the universe is telling them not to be together. And I think by definition, that's a Romeo and Juliet story. And you know which ship is literally a Romeo and Juliet story? Calliette. Calliope and Juliet from First Kill. Literally opposite sides of a species war.
Star-crossed lovers, I'm immediately thinking Klexa. So I'm gonna go with Klexa, and I think Caitlin knows it.
Patty's probably gonna pick Klexa. And so I'm gonna have to fight against Klexa.
They're star-crossed lovers. They come from entirely different worlds even. One is from space. And they fall in love, and they have this huge conflict that they have to take care of people, and that, you know, everything is just messy around them.
I know Klexa is a very prominent ship, and this is going to be very difficult.
I have a very personal attachment to Klexa. It's one of my favorite SAPPHIC ships, so I will hopefully do right by them. I think she might do Villeneuve or Calliette. Oh, she has Calliette. That's a good one too.
But by definition, Calliette is star-crossed lovers. So our first category for my video is star-crossed lovers, and I'm going to pick Calliette from First Kill.
I'm not surprised at all. And I see your Calliette, and I obviously raise you Klexa.
Yep, I'm not surprised either. I'm gonna have to do a monumental job here. Okay, so when you think about star-crossed lovers, who do you think about? First person, first ship, Romeo and Juliet. And you know who is literally they're literally modeled after Romeo and Juliet, Calliope and Juliet from First Kill. And, you know, star-crossed lovers is this idea that the universe literally won't let them be together, whether it be because of your class, whether it be because of your location, whatever, right? And like, yeah, Klexa, they might be literally star-crossed lovers because, like, they're in space, whatever. But Callie and Juliet, one is a vampire hunter and the other is a vampire. Those two are not supposed to work. And you see that in the first kiss that they have, which is crazy first kiss, by the way. She doesn't know she's a vampire. She tries to eat her and then the other girl stabs her. And then they have their families. Like, then they, like, start to love each other, whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, who cares that, like, maybe you are a nice vampire, maybe you are a nice vampire hunter. But then they have their families in their ears being like, no, you can't see her, no, you're supposed to be the enemy, you're supposed to be this. But they transcend those familial pressures and that backstory and the everyone else telling them that they shouldn't be together. And then they are. And they literally kiss on the stage of a Romeo and Juliet production. The star-crossed lovers. The star-crossed lovers. I'm so cooked.
You are cooked because I just remembered something. Wait, I need to write it down.
Go.
The good thing is you can't argue against the writing of The 100 right now, but I can argue against the writing of First Kill. I did enjoy that show. I was very into it too, and I was severely embarrassed after and have since privated my videos where I was reacting to this show because the writing was so bad. I mean, I ate her when talking about his mother-in-law. Anyways, let me just keep digging your grave even more. Is that even how you say it? I don't know, language barrier, whatever. When we came up with the concept for this video and we came up with categories, Caitlin asked me, what do you even mean with star-crossed lovers? I had to explain the concept of star-crossed lovers to her. And you know who I used as an example to explain it to her? Clexa. The star-crossed lovers, literally, because there's all kinds of space metaphors in the 100, you know. Clark is literally from space in a way. They meet on Earth. They're from entirely different worlds, from entirely different backgrounds. They are both in huge leadership positions. They're both in charge of entire people, and they're both teenagers. And they somehow connect because they have so much in common, and they fall in love, and it's beautiful. And it's one of the worst burial gaze moments ever. It is. Our hearts were ripped out. They were ripped out, and that, you know, ties back to Romeo and Juliet as well. Death, whatever. Clexa is most impactful ship right now because ClexaCon, whatever. They were a moment.
I would like to add that when we were talking about star-crossed lovers, I literally gave Patty the idea that they were literally, like, it was literally star-crossed because they were in separate universes.
I didn't even remember. Honestly, really, I didn't even remember that you told me that. Oops. Sorry. I do think Caliette is a very strong contender for this category, but I do think Clexa wins. I'm sorry.
No, I also think Clexa wins.
Thank you.
Winner.
I think they are the most impactful ship in between those two. I mean, for real. I got the point, which means we're even. 3-3.
Next up. I need something. Give me something. Oh, shit.
Ugh, I didn't want this one.
Neither did I. Oh my god. This is a problem. This is a very big problem. I have a problem.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the list. You have a problem.
I have a problem, and it's that I was just banking on the fact that we wouldn't get wedding. I used Freeland early, and now I have Paley, Hosey, Jackie Shauna, and Villeneuve for wedding. And I don't want to use any of them. Patty's definitely going to use Calzona because they literally have a wedding.
Well, I have one married couple on my list, and that will be Callie in Arizona from Grey's Anatomy. I think it's quite obvious that I'm going to pick this one, so she's going to try and tear me down, but I have to go first. Okay. I don't know who she's going to choose. Maybe she will burn Emily and Paige. Maybe she will come up with a way that a scene between some of the other ships can be interpreted as a wedding.
Literally, what am I supposed to do? Did they go to a dance? Who is that? Really dumb? Maybe I can angle this. Did they go to prom together? It looks like they went to prom together. I'm gonna start talking out of my ass. Daddy, this is so bad. This is really bad.
I get the reference. So I think it's quite obvious. There's only one ship left that had a wedding. So I'm going to send in Kelly in Arizona from Grey's Anatomy.
You might be shocked with who I'm going to pick.
Okay, I'm very curious.
I'm going to put Paige and Emily.
I did say that. I was like, maybe she's going to burn them. I want to make a strong case for Callie in Arizona, but I'm very scared. I don't know what she's gonna do with that Paley one. I mean, she might try to tear down Calzona because they had their moments. I picked them because I kind of wanted them in the messy category. They had a bunch of breakups. They had I'm gonna go to Africa without you. I'm gonna do this. They had cheating. They had a divorce. They had a custody battle. I know it's messy. It sounds bad, but trust me, they had a beautiful, beautiful wedding. They raised a cute, super cute child together. The wedding episode, the Calzona wedding, iconic. They were a ship at a time where it was not too popular to have a long-lasting, long-standing, healthy... I know I sound contradictory, but they were healthy, you know? And by the end of it, they also reconciled. There is an open ending to their story. Arizona left Grey's Anatomy with the intent to go to wherever Kelly was. So one can assume that they're back together, potentially remarried, and have a child, maybe even more children. I don't know. What I do know is that they actually got married. They had a beautiful ceremony in white dresses. They had a beautiful moment where Kelly's father finally came over got over his homophobia and embraced her and had the father-daughter dance at the wedding. It was beautiful. Mark was there. The wedding video was beautiful. It was a beautifully done moment on the show and goes down in history as one of the best weddings on Grey's Anatomy, in my opinion.
That shit-eating grin that Patty has on her face right now is someone who knows they just won.
But I'm curious. Maybe you have. I don't know what you have. Like,
I have nothing.
Maybe you come up with something.
Okay,
Go.
so Patty mentioned that, we know Callie and Arizona got married, but you know what the statistic is? 50% of weddings end in divorce. And you know what happened to Callie and Arizona? They got divorced. So they're just a statistic. Why even bother having a wedding if you're going to break up anyways? Am I right? So, which brings me to my ship, Paige and Emily. Now, maybe, they didn't get married, but they did go to a school dance. And they got into their outfits. And arguably a simulation wedding. A dry run, if you will, a rehearsal dinner. And they were surrounded. Sure, there wasn't a pastor or any vows exchanged, but it's as good as a wedding, is it not? They're both in white and they're both dancing in the middle of the dance floor. And you know what? Maybe when they did it, they realized maybe we shouldn't get married. And they didn't have to go through all of that waste of money in both the wedding and the divorce. You know how expensive divorces are? You know how expensive weddings are? And you know what? Maybe that was the responsible thing to do, is have this dry run of a wedding and realize maybe that's not for us. But they still get to, if they never get married ever, they still get to have that memory of what could have been. Yep.
I want to add that Emily did get married to someone else, and it also ended in divorce.
Yes, but we're not talking about Emily and Allison.
Yeah, it's true, but I already gave myself the point.
Yeah, valid.
Winner.
I'm just thinking another category will come up and I'll have to use John, so it's gonna be the same.
I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I really didn't want wedding to come up. I did not.
I also didn't really plan on it. Really planned them for messiest ship because they had so many messes.
Next ship, Patty has taken the lead, 4-3, but
not for long.
I got rid of Paley, and she still has
Yeah,
Jonch, and I have
true.
Jackie, Shauna, and Hosey left. Hell yeah. Fucking yeah.
This is gonna be a close one though, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think she thinks I'm gonna pick Jackie Shauna.
She has one non-canon ship that she's obviously gonna use, which means I have to argue against Hosey.
I'm gonna do Hosey. Because in my mind, Jackie Shauna's canon. There are so many things that Jackie Shauna can go for, and we're just gonna keep them.
She's gonna use Hosey. They have a huge case for them. The good thing is that I'm going second. And I think Claire is an amazing non-canon ship. They have so much potential. They were roommates. I'm gonna write this down.
I'm gonna put Hosey because I was a really big Hosey back in like 2021.
That's also how we met. That's a connection that we have. Maybe she'll actually use that and be like, this is our connection. I don't know though, Caitlin. Watch yourself.
They were never canon, but they had so much potential and so many parallels between the actual canon ship of Hope and Landon and everything. And their love story would have been so perfect. I mean, it kind of already is, even without any actual confirmation.
She's really like making her case. I can see her yapping away.
I think I can make the best argument for best non-canon ship with Hosey. I mean, it was written there and Brett Matthews and Julie Plec couldn't read and it was horrible, but we're gonna do it and I'm excited. Okay, so for best non-canon ship, I am putting up Hosey from Legacies.
Really? You don't say. And can you guess who I'm putting in this fight? It's gotta be Claire, and I'm actually very excited. I think this is closer than one might think.
I'm going in this determined to win.
Okay, me too.
Hope and Josie from Legacies is one of the worst, like, they had so much potential. See, I'm very passionate about this, so I don't even know what I'm saying. They have some of the best potential in the show, and they simply never came to fruition, okay? They both had canon crushes on each other, but they never acted on those things. And honestly, both crushes happened at the same time, and neither knew about it, which was a tragedy. And then, if you want to know anything about Hosey, go watch season 2, episode 7, where there are direct parallels between Hope and Landon, which is the canon straight couple of the show, and Hope and Josie. Hope and Landon, Landon is Hope's boyfriend, and he doesn't stay when she asks him to, and he automatically wants to leave whenever there is any trouble. And do you know what Josie says? Josie tells Hope that she wants her to stay at the school. And even though she had wronged her in the past and, she had forgotten about her, but now her memory's back, whatever. Okay? And they're always fighting for each other. Josie is saving Hope. Hope is saving Josie. There's no power imbalance there. And Josie relies on Hope for her power because of the siphoning ability, which is really, really cool. And what else about Hosey? They were there since day one. In the first episode, in the pilot episode, you see this tension, and then they only, evolve over time into great confidants and potentially lovers.
I really thought you were gonna go the route that this is how we met. I thought you were gonna try and pull at my heartstrings.
No. I'm appealing to the viewers.
I think, honestly, going into this, I think this might be a point the viewers have to decide. I agree. Hope and Josie, amazing non-canon ship. I love him so much. It's how we met. It's an amazing couple with so much wasted potential that should have happened. But you know what didn't happen? Them. They did not happen. The show was over. It got cancelled because it was so awful. And by the end of it, we were all suffering and only there because of Hosey, which arguably is a strong argument for them. But you know who can still happen? When Claire. Season 2 is airing, shameless plug, I don't know, season 2 is airing later this year, and I think there definitely is so much potential there that has not been wasted yet, because they might still happen. We have the textbook Grumpy Sunshine. I was waiting for that category to use them because they would have cleared that category, but now they're clearing this category. They are textbook Grumpy Sunshine. We have Wednesday Addams, and we have Enid Sinclair. I don't need to explain how they're Grumpy and Sunshine. It is Grumpy Sunshine. It is perfect. They are roommates, Let me say that again. They were roommates. So, what a beautiful pipeline that would be. Roommates to lovers. It's amazing. It's right there. Enid wasn't able to turn into a werewolf until Wednesday was in trouble. Then she was finally able to do it. She got over it. She saved her life. They had the most amazing hug. Wednesday hugged her back, even though Wednesday doesn't hug, but she did it with Enid. What else? They are amazing. They're cute. They have a height difference as well. They're super cute. They are endgame.
Oh, wow. A hug. Ah.
What do you want me to say about Hosey? Do you want to get into it?
A non-consensual kiss is never the answer. She wanted her to kiss her.
No, she did. No.
But if your ship does come canon, then at least Hosey by definition is a non-canon ship because it can never be canon.
Ooh, true, but the timer's up. You don't get to argue.
I know.
And I genuinely think I want to leave this up because I really don't know who wins this. For real. I'm not saying this so that I can, because I don't want to give you the point. I really want to give it to both of us because I think they both really work.
So how are we going to deal with this in our scoring system?
That's the question.
Do we get half points? Do we both get a point?
Do we share them, or is that dumb?
Because then they can't tie. We can't tie.
If you share the points, we can't tie. Which would be actually kind of...
Would it be
smart.
better?
Both of us get a point, or we pick one.
I guess we can both get a point.
I feel like I'm bending the rules so that I can win. This is awful.
What? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because that battle was so close, we're gonna leave it up to you guys, and definitely tell us in the comments who you think won between Hosey and One Claire. But for now, we're both gonna get a point.
Winner.
Now that both of us get those points, we can no longer tie, so there will be a clear winner after this video, so stay tuned. The score is now 5-4. Patty is in the lead, but she still has Jonch left. So
stop reminding me. Stop it. You got two strong ones left. This is horrible.
I do.
Oh, you won this one. Oh, you
Maybe
won
I
this
have.
one.
I was going to say I haven't been doing a very good job at arguing my points because I'm just literally going off the dome, and it seems like you have bullet points.
No, I don't have bullet points.
Oh, you
Not
don't?
at all, really.
Oh,
no.
you're doing great. You're doing really well.
See, this is what I have. I just have the
it's just
ships,
a
and
list.
occasionally I wrote down like little things, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't have bullet points. It's vibes in here.
Okay, this is a perfect category for me, considering who I have left. I have Jackie Shauna and Villeneuve. Definitely Jackie Shauna. I mean, come on. Jackie Taylor haunts the narrative of Yellow Jackets from the very first season.
All right, she's definitely going Jackie Shauna. It is the most obvious doomed by the narrative ship. You could argue Villeneuve also kind of fits. She has two very strong ships left. My only option is to use Jonsh to burn it. I think she knows that too.
Who's she gonna? I guess she's gonna pick Shoni. I don't even know.
Maybe I can actually kind of turn this into yes, they were doomed by the narrative because they sucked from the beginning, so they didn't even try. Maybe I can turn it into something like this.
Everything that Shauna goes through is because of Jackie. See, the thing is I say all my good points in this section, and then I forgot to say them when I'm actually talking to Patty.
I'm just happy that I get to see Caitlin talk about Jackie Shauna for 90 seconds uninterrupted. It's gonna be so good. She'll cook. I already know it. I think we both know who I'm gonna send into this because I've already given up on this category, so I'm sending in Jonsh.
Okay. Okay. Obviously I'm sending in Jackie Shauna.
Really? I'm so surprised.
I'm so excited for you to just tell me why Jonsh was doomed by the narrative.
I will tell you. I will tell you. I will tell you. You sitting down for this? A ship doomed by the narrative, aka kind of haunting the narrative. Also like a ship that just always comes back, that never leaves you. And that is what happened with Jonsh. Jonsh was this horrible ship that was doomed by the narrative from the very beginning. The second Finch was introduced on a show where we already had a bunch of ships and a very, very, very strong opinions in the fandom. And you introduce a new person, a new character that nobody cares about, that no one will form any attachment to except the people that desperately loved Jonsh and Finch because they didn't want it threatening hand in whatever the stupidest straight ship ever created. So doomed by the narrative, they were from the beginning. They were doomed by the narrative because nothing was ever gonna come out of this. It sucked so bad. Everybody hated this ship except, like I said, the weird other people. I don't know. It was horrible from the beginning. I'm not going to say anything bad about the actors because they did a decent job with the stuff they were given, definitely. Awful first kiss, though, but that's not the actors' fault. That was writing, that was blocking, that was everything wrong with the show. Horrible. Just doomed by the narrative. Doomed by the narrative because they were meant to fail from the very beginning. They were doomed before they even set foot, before the lines were even written in the script that this ship was already doomed. Doomed by the narrative, doomed by the Hosey narrative. Hosey forever lives on. Thank you, bye.
Was their first kiss the fireworks?
I think so. I don't remember. See, I've blocked out everything. I couldn't even tell you any plot stuff. Did you know I just talked about how they were doomed from the very beginning because I don't even remember. I've blocked that all out for obvious reasons. But I think I made a good case, right? I had a good...
It was a nice spin that you
right?
put on it. Yeah. But unfortunately, I think you're about to get pounded by Jackie Shauna. Jackie Shauna is one of the most important ships in Yellow Jackets because Jackie Taylor haunts the narrative. Everything that happens to Shauna Shipman, teen timeline, adult timeline, is because of her relationship with Jackie Taylor. And Ella Purnell even wanted to stay on the show for longer, but the showrunners said, no, your death, Jackie's death, is so central to the narrative that you cannot die, you cannot live. You have to stay dead. And, you know, a common thing that everyone says, Silver Springs, you'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loved you. And that is exactly what is happening with Jackie Shauna, okay? And they are just, unfortunately, they're meant to fail. Like, Shauna's harboring so many secrets from Jackie. She's going to Brown. They're not going to Rutgers together. She's pregnant with her boyfriend's baby, okay? Not because she likes Jeff, but because she wants to be with Jackie, and that is a Jackie replacement. You know, tell me you love me after Jackie doesn't say I love you back when they drop her off at her house, okay? And so there's so many things happening, and Jackie Taylor continues to pop up in hallucinations after Jackie dies in the snow and they eat her. Like, it's all... And there again, Jackie's death is central to the narrative. She is the first act of cannibalism with the ear, with the actual feast. Jackie saves them in the winter, okay? And that is why Jackie Shauna is doomed by the narrative and the best ship of all time. Mic drop.
You had that in the bag the second this category was picked or selected, I guess. I'll give you that point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Winner.
I said when I was talking to my audience, I said that I was excited to hear you talk 90 seconds about Jackie Shauna, because I knew you were gonna do a good job, great job even.
I hope I didn't disappoint. I think that was one of my better arguments because I knew what to say.
Because that was your ship.
That's my ship.
And I think this has now set us up with such an exciting last category moment. Because
we're tied.
5-5.
We're tied 5-5. And we each have one ship left. I have Villeneuve and Patty has Shoney. And now the question is, which category are we going to have to duke it out with? Just to get that last point, to see who wins the ship battle. I think this is the best finale that we could have gotten. So let's spin the wheel.
I'm worried. Because I think it really depends on the category.
It really does. Shit.
Is that Grumpy Sunshine? Yes,
It's Grumpy Sunshine. Okay.
This was the best possible one for me, honestly.
I think it was.
Okay, but you have to start, right? Oh, this is also so strong for me. I can follow up.
It is.
Yes.
Flashback.
Though, if Grumpy Sunshine ever comes up, I'm going to have to make a crazy argument for something else.
End of flashback.
So, I'm a little fucked. I think that was the worst possible outcome.
I think this was the best possible outcome for me. Couldn't have asked for anything better, really.
Because I could have argued, like, borderline homophobic, messy as shit. But Grumpy Sunshine is something, especially against Shoney, that's really hard to follow up with because of who they are.
Shelby obviously being the sunshine, whereas Tony is the little grumpy, little evil sprout that hates her, despises her in the beginning.
Who's the sunshine in this scenario here?
Excited, and I'm watching. Caitlin is sharing her screen and she's pulling up Grumpy Sunshine.
I don't even know. Like, can I just, like, pretend that we're gonna do, like, Black Cat and Golden Retriever? Like, this is gonna be a problem. This is such an immense problem that, like, none of them are sunshine because they're both really depressed and gay.
Shoney has the Grumpy Sunshine dynamic. If she's doing that, I'm doing that too.
Or I think I argue that Villanelle is the sunshine. Because she can be fun and she jokes sometimes. Out of all the ones, shit. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some crazy spinning, but honestly, I don't know if I have it in me. Neither of them is the sunshine. God. And I have to go first? Oh, shit.
I saw that you Googled some stuff.
Oh, yeah. I have to go first?
The stage is yours.
Oh,
yeah, you have to go first. This is a huge advantage for me, honestly.
Oh my god. This is so bad. Like, this was the worst possible outcome for me.
And the best possible one. The only good one for me. Because Villeneuve, I would say, I would give you any points, but not in this category. This is the only good one for me.
I don't even know where I'm going with this. Okay, on the surface, Villeneuve might not seem like Grumpy Sunshine, because you ask yourself, who is the sunshine in this scenario? They're both very sad and very gay. But I think you could argue that when they're together, they bring out the sunshine in each other. You know, they're grumpy with other people, but when they're together, they're happy, right? And so in this scenario, I am saying that Villanelle is the sunshine and Eve is the grumpy. And I think I would say that because Villanelle gets a kick out of messing with Eve. And, you know, she stabs her and she thinks it's funny. And she thinks she's messing with her. You know, she messes with Eve's husband and she thinks it's funny. And honestly, I think she's had the most laughs when she's around Eve and when she's messing with her. And also, you know, Grumpy Sunshine can also be like Golden Retriever and Black Cat. And Villanelle's blonde, like a Golden Retriever. And, you know, Eve has black hair, like Black Cat. See, this is me spinning the narrative here.
I can
Yeah, yeah. That's literally all I have. I know I have more time left, but I really don't have anything going for me in this category. So, unfortunately. And I'm also going against Shoni. Like, how am I supposed to argue that?
And especially now that I can follow up too. Oh, that was a nice crack too. Haha. Okay, let's do this. Give me the stage. But I think you did the right choice by saying Eve was the grumpy one and Villanelle would be the happier one. But I also do think that whenever she laughs, it's because she's killing someone or she's having a blast, doing those things that she does. Anyways, I'm here to talk about Shoni, who are the embodiment of Grumpy Sunshine. On one side, we have Shelby, pageant girl, from Texas, very outgoing, extroverted, just a very, very happy person. Deep down, she has her issues and the baggage that she carries, but she doesn't necessarily show it on her sleeve. She instead decides to be a very nice person and has a very nice personality, the sunshine personality, versus Tony. Tony, who is very grumpy, has a lot of baggage and obviously a lot of self-preservation, or like a lot of techniques to kind of keep to herself, and only has is it Martha? I forgot her name. No, it's not. I don't know. Why? Her bestie, who's also on the island. How did I forget about this? Anyways, and these two clash immediately. They have the perfect sunshine grumpy setup, and it works. They clash. Shelby over here with her little ass breakers and trying to make the best out of the situation, trying to make the light out of the situation after a plane crash, versus Tony, who does not want to talk to her, who does not want to have to do anything with her, also thinks Shelby's homophobic when she really isn't, and it's just clashes and they fall in love and the rest is history.
Yeah, you get that point.
Yes.
Winner.
Like you said, they are the Grumpy Sunshine. And, like, if I had a different ship to go against, maybe I stood a chance. But with Villaneve, no fucking way.
In any other category, they would have won because they're such a strong, cool ship. Like, toxic, messy, but also a death trope, for example, too. They have so much going for them.
I could have argued so much. Like, I could have argued borderline homophobic and messiest and enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers would have been so close, honestly, because they both fit that. But I think maybe you actually, because yours is way more serious. I'm talking about teenagers here, and you're talking about grown-ups. But yeah, I think I win this.
You do.
I did not expect to come out on top here in this scenario, judging from the way it started in my video. I was thinking I was going to be left behind somewhere.
It was a good battle, though. It was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. Sure, it's easy for me to say because I technically won, but it didn't really feel like I don't know, like super serious battle and I hate you and your ships and mine are so much better. It really felt like we had cute moments where we could really argue about ships that we love, and I really loved it. We
had a lot of fun, and if you guys liked it as well, we're definitely open to doing another video. There are so many other ships we could have covered, and we also didn't even touch movies, and there's so many other tropes that we love. So in addition to telling us who you think won this overall battle, tell us who you'd want us to feature in another video, ships, categories, anything, and we'll take it into account. And I would be down to do another one of these. I want revenge.
See, now that means you're out for blood if we ever do this again. I'll be scared. You'll come in with a proper strategy, like pages and pages of strategy. I really enjoy talking to another person about ships for once, because usually I just yap to a camera, and it's fun to have someone on the receiving end of it, and to have someone who kind of thinks like me. That is actually kind of scary. But so cool, and I'm so happy and glad that we made this happen, and I would be so down to do it again, depending on what the people want.
So our final score with the overall ship battle, we came in, I was up 3-2, but Patty came from behind, and she won 6-5, and that's just how the cookie crumbles with the wheel, and how random everything is. But we all gave really great arguments, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to check out Patty's video if you haven't, which hopefully you did, because that was the first video in this series. And hopefully we get to do this again. But as always, get some sleep, stream Yellow Jackets, and any other Sapphic shows and movies, because it is June when we're going to be posting this. So happy Pride Month, and I'll see you in my next video.